Okay, everyone, we are almost ready to get started. Just a few minutes to go, and I've already talked about the Custom Apparel Startups Facebook page, and I've talked about our YouTube channel. This is brand new. If you are a podcasting fan, if you are into podcasts, listen to things through iTunes, etc., I'm going to send a link to our new Custom Apparel Startups podcast. Now, this gives us an opportunity to talk to people in the business. Actually, our first couple of podcasts were just talking to our in-house IT guy about setting up domains and emails and websites and things along those lines, and speaking to Jennifer, who runs NNEP, about her experience in the embroidery business. We've done quite a bit. Mark Vila and I, the marketing person for Coleman & Company, had a great session on email marketing. So these are just things that you can listen to while you do other things. You can listen to it while you're in your car and kind of get educated on the apparel decorating business in general. I'm going to go ahead and send you a link to that as well, so if you're a podcaster, you can take advantage. Hey, Marco, how you doing over there? Are you about ready to get started?
Absolutely.
Okay, terrific. Let's give it maybe 2 more minutes for the stragglers to come in, give a few more folks a chance to interact with us online. I'm actually going to ask you guys to do one more thing for me. I know it's asking a lot, but if everyone would go to coldesi.com. I know that you all understand the importance of social media and online activities, and that's one of the reasons why you're here listening to the Deconetwork webinar. I'd like you all to go to coldesi.com and hit all these little buttons right here. You can see there's a Facebook share, you can tweet, you can Google+, you can share us on LinkedIn, you can like us on Pinterest. You can do all that for us, and that actually helps the company Coldesi, get more interaction from the public, from you guys, and that helps Google like us. The more Google likes us, the more we show up in search engines, and the more other people like you get to find great programs and webinars like we're offering here today. Okay, just want to say thanks for attending, everybody. Hi, my name is Mark Stevenson, and I am the marketing director for Coldesi, coming to you from Tampa, Florida. And we try to do a webinar, a live demonstration like this every Thursday evening at 7 o'clock Eastern Time. So you can go to the Coldesi website, and you can go to our live page right here, and it's even occasionally accurate, where we will have upcoming presentations and things along those lines posted there. So if you go there, you can sign up and get more information about all of our live online webinars. But tonight, we're going to spend some time on what most of you, or most of the people on our Custom Apparel Startups Facebook page, and most of the people we talk to on the phone want to do. Sure, they want to get into business, or they want to expand their business or increase their business by adding new technologies. But a lot of people that I talk to during presentations and in person don't know what to do about a website, or they they're not sure how to get started, or maybe they have a website and it's just not working for them. And that's why we've teamed up with Deconetwork, because they've got the solution that they've written basically from the ground up for the apparel decorating industry. And having said that, I'm going to turn you guys all over to Marco Pena of Deconetwork. Marco?
Thank you very much, Mark. I appreciate that. Let me go ahead and share my screen here.
I've got you. You should be
fantastic.
Showing up in just a second.
Just let me know when that comes up, please.
Yep, you're good.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Mark, thanks for the introduction. I appreciate that, folks. I appreciate your time this afternoon. Very excited to share with you guys what Deconetwork can do for you. As Mark says, one of the things that we really like working about Codesi is they're just such a forward-thinking company. They're always looking for ways to support their clients through education, through products, through knowledge. And, you know, we really appreciate that because we too share that same passion in educating the marketplace and our clients. So first thing I want to do is just kind of, as we go through and just share a little bit about what Deconetwork is and what, more importantly, what it can do for your business and help you grow and really achieve those goals that you're looking to achieve. As we start to discuss that, let me just quickly share with you guys, if you have any questions or you have anything that kind of pops in your mind as we're doing the presentation, please put it in the chat box for Mark, and we'll go ahead and answer those at the very end. So if you have any questions at all and you are just looking to get something answered or what have you, go ahead and just put that in the chat or the questions box, and we'll go ahead and get that taken care of. All right, so as we get started, I do want to bring you first your attention to codesi.deconetwork.com. You can see the website here. If after this presentation you decide, hey, this looks good, I want to give it a shot, I want to try it, this is the direction I want to go, place to land if you want to do a little more research or you want to sign up or you just kind of want to look around and poke around and kick the tires a little bit, is codesi.deconetwork.com. And I'll come back to this at the very end and we'll circle back around it and show you what the pricing is and how to sign up and all that good stuff. All right? So having said that, Mark, I'm going to go ahead and get started. Let's talk a little bit about what Deconetwork is. Now, Deconetwork really is three major elements. It's designed from the ground up, as Mark said, specifically for our industry. We know our industry is complex and it's unique and it's different. It's not the type of industry that you would can get just any solution and try to make it work, because our industry is unique. It's very, very complex. Whether you do embroidery or DTG or screen print or sublimation or whatever it is that you do, it's got its complexities. Even selling a simple T-shirt isn't so simple. For example, in our industry, a large is going to cost different than a double X. A triple X will cost differently than an XL. A black shirt is going to cost you more than a light shirt. A light shirt is going to cost you more than a white shirt. The type of decorations that you decide to sell or use is going to cost you differently than if you do DTG versus screen print. Your costs are different. Your embroidery costs are different. So having all these complexities and variables really make that standard or average solution or that generic solution really complex to work with in a complex industry. So what we try to do is make this solution specifically for our industry that answers all those questions, that fulfills all those needs, that simplifies that process. So when you sign up for Deconetwork, there's three major elements. I'll kind of briefly go through them. The first element that it is that it's a full functioning e-commerce platform. It gives you everything that you need to get your business online. So whether it's if you want to have clients find you online, it's got the solution for that. If you want to give your email address or your website address to your clients so they can self-serve, it's got that. So it does come with everything that you need to get your business online. That's the hosting, the shopping cart, the online designer, everything that you need. In fact, we've partnered with companies such as Sanmar and SNS and Bodick and Rhodes and Americana and Alpha Broder, and we've got their catalogs built into the system, because that's one of those complexities that we talked about earlier. If you've ever tried to build a website from scratch and you've not used Deconetwork in the past, well, you know what I'm talking about. You have to go to your supplier, you have to ask them for their catalog, and you got to get their images, or you got to retake those images, and you got to try to get those images up on the site, and it's just a whole lot of work. It's a lot more work than I'd want my worst enemy to do, or much less my friend. It's just a lot of work, and it's very complex. Well, we've taken that hard work out of the equation. We've worked with these partners, and we've uploaded their catalog. In fact, we've got well over 14,000 products built into Deconetwork already. So adding these products is actually very simple on the back end, and I'll show you that in just a little while. But there's multiple ways of doing business within Deconetwork. One is to use an online designer or to sell the blanks, and I'll show you that in a second. The other way is to sell what we call pre-decorated. Now these would be, I've got this great shirt and I've got a great logo, or it's a school logo, or it's a restaurant logo, or it's whatever, and these are sold as is. And so that's one way. And then the third way is to work within the template. So let me just quickly show you what it would look like to work with this design from the start. So we'll go ahead and click on this. Now, Deconetwork does support embroidery, DTG, screen print, transfer, rhinestone, and sublimation. Now, you can turn 2 or 3 of these elements on and turn the other ones off, or you can turn all of them on. It's entirely up to you. It's really simple for you to just say, I do them all, or I only do these 3. Now, what we'll do is we'll go ahead and click on DTG printing, and that'll bring up the designer. Now with the designer, a couple things I do want to point out. It's a non-flash based designer, so it'll absolutely work with your iPad, your Android tablet, no problem. You won't have any complexities or issues with that. Now what I'll do is I'll go ahead and add a design. Now of course I can click on this and upload my own image. That's not a problem. I can easily do that. Or if I've got Instagram or Facebook, I can click on this, log into my Facebook account, and pull up my design. So this is especially wonderful for those of you that have a DTG machine from Codesi, because you can click on so your clients can go on there, click on Facebook or Instagram, get that picture they took over the weekend, put it up on a t-shirt, place an order, and guess what? You guys can print those one-offs, not a problem. That's one of the big advantages that you have over the large screen print companies that they may not be willing to do that. Of course, you as a store owner, if you've got your own designs and you've got the right to put them up on a website, you can certainly do that, or you can work with stock designs. Now we currently have well over 18,000 stock designs. Some of them are free and some of them are royalty based. But in this case, what I'll do is I'll just go ahead and pick up like a basketball logo here, like this one. Very good, and I'll just select that one here. Now what I'll do is I'll put that on here. Now one of the questions people often ask me is, well, how do I make sure that I get good quality artwork? I want to make sure that I'm going to get something that's going to look good, that's going to print well. Well, notice that we have a quality indicator right here, and this quality indicator is really important, because if I upload a raster file like this and I try to go and I try to resize it bigger than what it ought to be, well, notice it goes from green to yellow to eventually red. In fact, if I try to add it to cart, it's going to say, hey, I'm sorry, it's below the quality indicators. Please upload a better quality.
That's great. I didn't know it did that, Marco. That's really
cool.
Cool.
Yeah, that's pretty cool, right? And of course, you as a store owner can control that. So if I want to change things around, I can certainly do that. If I want to put a red basketball there, I certainly can. Now, also, I do have some effects here I can add if I want to. So we can put a comic effect, and if I want to give it a more stylized look, and if I want to add maybe a filter, I certainly can do that also. Now, one of the nice things about Deconetwork is that not only can you do things with print, so if you've got your DTG machine from Codesi and you want to be able to offer this for your clients, the cost to take an order is so expensive, and I've got a really great way of doing this in just a little while. I'm going to show you this through Business Hub, but to take an order right now manually, that's to say someone comes to your shop or you're talking to somebody on the phone and they want to place an order for a one-off or a couple of shirts. It's so expensive. Your order management costs are just through the roof. If you've ever kind of considered the time it takes for them to go through a catalog, find the item that they want, find the design that they want, tell you where to put it, tell you how to spell the name, what kind of font, all that stuff is so time-consuming. The best part of having a solution like Deconetwork is, guess what? They can now go to your site and they can design it themselves. They can go through the process. They can spend 2 hours if they want to design that perfect T-shirt, because guess what? It's their 2 hours, not your 2 hours. So it's a really cost-effective way for you to be able to do business with your clients. One of the other things I do like to show is the embroidery. Now, you as a store owner can again select what kind of decoration type you want on your website, but also you can select what type of in what area you want it to decorate. So, for example, on this left pocket, I've said I want to be able to offer embroidery. Now, on the full body, I said, okay, DTG is fine, but on the body, I only want to be embroidery. So in this case, I'll just go ahead and select this one here. Now, we actually are using Wacom embroidery engine on Deconetwork, and that's really unique to us. We're the only system in the world that does this currently right now. And it's really nice because when you do something with embroidery, it actually looks like embroidery. It doesn't look like a scaled-down version of like a raster file or vector file. It actually looks just like embroidery. Now, again, my screen is refreshing kind of slowly here, so I apologize. But can you see it, Mark? Is it coming through?
Yeah, it's not quite looking at like embroidery yet. I think it's a little fuzzy, just waiting
Yeah,
to. There we go. Okay, that popped up.
okay. Yeah, sorry
That
about
looks
that.
great.
Yeah, so that's actually embroidery. That's a really nice thing. So as your clients are going through the process and they're looking at it, one of the nice things about that, Mark, is they're actually able to see what it'll look like with embroidery. So you can see the way the light bounces off of it. It looks realistic. What's really nice about this is that we actually tend to see that there's a better close ratio when they go through and they design it, because now they've invested time, they've invested their energy, they're vested in it. They're much more likely to purchase it as they just came to you and said, well, I kind of want to quote and I just want to see what you can do and so forth, because there isn't that much of an investment that way. But if they've invested an hour and they've kind of moved it around and asked somebody their opinion, that kind of thing, they're much more likely to actually go through with the purchase. Now, of course, if they want to add text, they certainly can. Now, because we do have the Wilcom embroidery engine, one of the nice things about this is I type in Mark here, is that it will generate this, and again, it looks like embroidery. As a store owner, I can say I want to offer certain colors on here. Now, we do have like the Isacord, and we have Robinson Anton. We have several of the brands of thread on here that you can select, as well as the Wilcom fonts. So if they want to go in there and select different Wilcom fonts, you certainly can. Now, notice that it looks just like embroidery, and the reason why is because that's actually embroidery. When I add to cart, what the client doesn't realize is they're actually doing the work for you. You're going to get this in a production-ready file embroidery stitch format.
And so let me ask you, Marco, does that come out as a DST file? Is that what happens?
It actually comes out in an EMB format. Now, you can use Wilcom's TrueSizer, which is absolutely free, and you can get that. You can convert that into a DST. So if you want to open that up now in Sierra or Pulse or whatever brand house,
Okay.
whatever other brand you want, you can certainly do that. But it does it as a native EMB file.
Nice.
And of course, I could spend a week talking about the designer. There's just so much flexibility, functionality. If you add a design, so if a client says, well, I don't have a logo, but I've got an image, I've got a scanned image of it, you can certainly upload an image. And while the system doesn't auto-digitize, what it does do, however, is it calculates the stitch count. And it automatically calculates stitch count and determine the digitizing fee and the stitches per the design. Wow. So it collects all that up front. So you're not having to call the client up and say, yeah, you know what, it's going to cost $50 to get it digitized, and they feel like you've done a bait and switch on them. Hey, this way, it collects it up front. It's all up front.
Hey, Marco, let me ask the attendees a question. I should have done this in the beginning. I'm curious. Raise your hand if you are an embroidery professional, or if that's your goal is embroidery. Okay, quite a few. Okay, now let me get an idea of how many people. I'm going to put all your hands down of how many people do direct-to-garment printing or screen printing. Wow, we've got a pretty nice mix. And how about bling? How about rhinestones? How are we? I know Yolanda does rhinestones. Tracy. Okay, that's great. Okay, thanks, guys. I appreciate that. It looks like we've got a nice mix, Marco. So keep that in mind as we go along. Looks like we've got an even mix of
oh, nice,
bling, embroidery, and printing.
Can I add to that, Mark? What if you ask how many people do at least 2 or 3 different decoration types?
Oh, that's good. How many multimedia guys do we have?
What does that look like?
Ooh, I think that was like half. I think I was making people choose, and I shouldn't have been.
Yeah, you know what? We're seeing that more and more are being are becoming much more diverse in their offerings, strictly because their clients are seeking more and more options too. So if price point sometimes is a factor, whether they go with one decoration type versus another, or simply they just want to do one-offs.
Right. Now you're stuck on leave this page. Okay, there you go.
I hadn't closed it.
Okay.
So let's go ahead and oops. What I want to do now is I want to go back to home. Here we go. So, Mark, that's one of the things that you can do with embroidery. Again, I don't want to spend way too much time on that, but the other thing that I did want to show you guys is how to work within a template. Now, what's really nice about this is that we can create templates in CorelDRAW. Now, we're the only system in the world that actually has a native CorelDRAW vector engine in Deconetwork. So not only do we have the embroidery view, as you guys saw earlier, but we also have the vector view. Now what's really neat about that is I can bring in vector images just like this, and by the way, these are images through Digital Arts, and we do charge a little bit extra for these because of the licensing, but you can certainly enable these if you don't have them, and it's beautiful artwork, as you can see. But let's just say, for example, I want to change that to 2010 to 2015. Now normally, if you want to make changes like this, if I've got a great design, well, this works for maybe a small slice of the world, right? If you don't go to Wellington and you're not number 58, then this design's not going to work for you. But excuse me, but in Deconetwork, if I have, if it's a native CorelDRAW file, and again, we're the only system in the world that can do this. If you upload that native CDR file, watch what can happen. Notice that all these are basically single objects. So now I'm not number 58, now I'm number 54, for example. Watch this. Now that's already changed right here, as you can see. If I'm not lacrosse, and maybe we're not champs, but we're, you know, playoffs or something like that, I don't know. You know, something like that, right? And watch, it keeps the integrity of the design consistent. So if you are, you know, if you're number 58, not 54, now you can create a design that isn't so specific to one player, but now it could be to anybody that plays lacrosse that wants to have this wonderful logo. They can go in there and they can personalize it. They can customize it.
That's
so it's
great.
a great way for you to be able to work with, with schools, organizations, where they say, well, I don't want you messing with the logo, but they can go in there and they can put their name, they can put their, you know, their title, they can put their graduation year, they can put their position, they can put whatever, right?
Yeah,
and
honestly, Marco, I know you know this, is you'd be surprised how flexible that people can be with their logos if you offer, well, here's the stock art and here's what it looks like. You know, this is what your lacrosse team could look like.
You know, that's a great point, Mark, because oftentimes what we see is that, you know, for consumers, they're not as creative as they think they are. And when they're creative, if you give them a blank canvas, well, most of them, they're not artists. And so what's going to happen is oftentimes when you give them a blank canvas, it's going to be, you know, it's going to be hit or miss. Oftentimes those consumers really are not going to create the Picasso. They're going to create, you know, finger paint. And so what this does is this allows them to be creative to a certain extent within a framework. So it allows them to personalize, not necessarily customize. And that's a big difference. In the case of playoff here, so I purposely typed in playoff incorrectly, but in most systems, if you had a vector engine and you had your own kind of build your own designer, if they gave this to you, well, because it's not a native file, what this means is I got to go back in there and I got to delete this. I got to open up an Illustrator or CorelDRAW. I got to delete this and go back and retype this, right? I'm sorry, retype it, or I got to recreate it. But because it is a native file in CorelDRAW, I can literally open this up in CorelDRAW because it's going to be CDR in, CDR out. I open this up in CorelDRAW, and then because it actually recognizes those fonts, I just type an F, and there you go. I don't do it within the system. I don't have to, but I'm just talking about like as a store owner at the very end. I actually get the native file on the back end too, which is really powerful.
So, Marco, do you have to own CorelDRAW to do this kind of thing?
Yeah, if you want the native file, yes, you do. Now, if you don't, you actually, well, that's partially true. Let me back up here. If you want to use some of the CorelDRAW functionality, then yes, you do. However, you can actually create templates without having CorelDRAW. You just do it on the back end of Deconetwork. You can create your own objects, if you will, or text, if you will.
Okay.
Now, Mark, we can spend days on this, and with Deconetwork, the front end is very powerful. You got on the storage level and above, you get HTML and CSS control, so you can do some amazing sites. In fact, I'd encourage you guys when you get a chance to go back to codesi.deconetwork.com and just kind of take a look at some of these demo site or customer sites, and these are actual customers that are using Deconetwork that have said, hey, it's okay for you to share my site. Now look at what they've done. Now you can go in there, and if you don't have any web design experience, no problem. You can use one of the templates. That's not an issue. But if you do have if you do have knowledge over website creation, you can create beautiful designs just like these. And these are, again, our actual clients that have used Deconetwork. And one of the things you'll notice that this one, if you look at it, it doesn't even look like it's a Deconetwork sign. That's because it just really attests to the ability to personalize this. Oh man, my computer is not looking good. Here we go. Okay, so there's another one, T-junction. Very, very nice. Also, just clean, super clean, very modern. They're using a lot of flat images, which Mark, you know, is hitting right now,
Yep.
as well as this site here that's I think they're in Argentina or something like that. So we have clients all over the world.
I've got two questions for you. Maybe we can pop in here real quick. What if you use Adobe Illustrator or other software? Can it export PDF or EPS files? How would that work?
Yeah, absolutely. You can definitely export it as a PDF file. It doesn't have to be a CDR. Of course, there's some advantages to using the CDR, but no, you can push out as a PDF, and there's like 13 formats that we support.
Okay. Now, another question. It looks like one of our customers has got a Brother, one of the GT3 DTG printers. Will this software integrate directly with that in some way?
Well, you know, with the Brother, you don't actually need any special type of file format. So, if someone was to go and design it, as I did with this client here, like in this one, I went through and I added it and went through the shopping cart and purchased it. What the store owner, and I'll show you that in just a second, the store owner, what they're going to get is they're going to get that image in that format that they request, whether it's PDF or CDR or you know, any format that they want, and then they just send that over to their Brother printer or their DTG printer or whatever printer they have, print that out and mark it as complete. So there's no real you know, because it's cloud-based, they can actually access this anywhere they have internet. So if you've got a computer sitting next to that printer and that has internet access, they can download it and print it and send it right out to the machines from there.
Yeah, that's great. And I think we're ready. I mean, you've seen how your customer can go in and manipulate images and pick their shirts and things along those lines. I'd love to show everybody how that works on the back end, because that's really where this product sets itself apart from things like Shopify and WooCommerce and the generic.
Yep, exactly. Mark, are you there?
I'm still here.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, you're absolutely right. And so, having said that, so that's a great segment to go right into the back end. And really, the back end is exactly what you're saying, Mark. That's where the magic happens. So this is a demo store, so please ignore some of the numbers. And your numbers will be probably much higher than this. But with the demo store, just kind of give you an idea. So one of the things you'll notice as soon as you log in as a store owner, you've got all these back end tools, because it's one thing to have a nice looking website, but the real magic is, all right, how do I manage my orders? How do I manage my clients? How do I manage my business? And the system does a really good job of that. And so I won't go through all these different things, but I briefly just want to point out a couple of things. So as I'm here on the back end, this is that second element of Deconetwork that I talked about being so important. As I go and I click on products, you'll notice that I can turn on the products, and turning on products from any one of these suppliers is really easy. But let's just say, for example, this Gildan 2000. With this Gildan 2000, as I click on it, you'll notice that I have lots and lots of control. If I click on the configure product, it takes me right to this where I can, change the description. Again, I don't have to add images. We do all the hard work for you. But this is where I can classify the different colors if I want, whether it's light, white, or dark. The decoration areas are right here. So it's really simple. So if I say, okay, I want to offer this one in just embroidery, I can do that. You see that? It's highlighted. It's super simple. No real special training. If I want to charge extra for light, white, or dark, it's right here. If it's a DTG, so it's the shirt plus the decoration.
Yeah. So if you actually are keeping some of these blanks in stock, you can manipulate the prices yourself.
Absolutely.
Better deal on inventory than on stuff you have to order custom.
Yep, that's exactly right. And you can control your pricing right from here as far as extra sizing, quantity, shipping, cost. If I want to manage cost, I can do that. I can use my vendor costing, or I can use whatever cost I have, as well as inventory. If you want to turn on inventory, and you can say, okay, I've got 100 of these in stock, and whether you sell one on your website or your sales guy sells another one, and it'll minimize, it'll continue to reduce that until it notifies you that you're low on stock and you need to order. So beyond the website, it's a whole business tool, and that's actually, I think, the strength of Deconetwork, which we'll get into in just a second. But Mark, it's much more than the website. It's a whole business suite that gives you the tools that you need to manage your business, control your workflow, control your orders, and so forth. So again, you can see just so much on here: meta information, availability, custom fields, all that stuff you can do. Great tools. In the settings section here, really briefly, there's a lot of flexibility within the system, and it's all here. So whether it's you want to offer coupon codes, so you guys are familiar with this. Whether if I buy it with Amazon, If I spend $35 in shipping, I'm sorry, for $35 in a product, I get free shipping. You can do that on your website. You can do that on your products. You can offer coupon codes and gift certificates and all that great stuff. Very, very simple. As you can see, it's all right here in the settings. But briefly, let me just show you in the embroidery, because I know we have a lot of people that do embroidery. Notice how we handle pricing very different than your Shopify, than your Volusion, which are all generic solutions. They don't have this flexibility. Now, with the embroidery, notice that in the pricing, look at this, from this quantity of stitches to this quantity of stitches and this quantity to this quantity, that's my price. But as I go up more and more and more, my price is going to be reduced, also by stitches. Very common. This is the way we do things in embroidery. This is the way we do things in our industry. But again, if you don't have a solution like Deconetwork, you're stuck to say it's a $15 t-shirt. You're going to lose money on sometimes. You're going to make a little more money on other times. Hopefully you break even, but oftentimes you tend to lose a little bit more because you have to be aggressive with your pricing. This way you can be specific to that product, specific to your needs. So Mark, the other thing I want to show is a business hub. And within Business Hub, this is to me is really the most important part of Deconetwork. From Business Hub, of course, I can see my dashboard. So again, I quickly see where all my orders are at. Business owners, all of you guys that are out there, I know this is one of those things where you're probably saying it would be great if I knew exactly where all my orders are. Guess what? Now it's possible.
Absolutely.
From here, I can quickly see that. Also, newsfeed. This is another great thing, Mark. With newsfeed, think of this as kind of like your Facebook of your business. So with Facebook, you get to see where friends walk the dog and where they had dinner and who's sick and all that good stuff, right? So with newsfeed, you get to see up to this moment, up to the minute, live confirmation of what's happening within your business. Something shipped out, a client placed an order, a client has a question, a purchase order was created, client made a deposit. Whatever that is, you're going to see up to the moment as it's happening here, and it's live. So as it's happening, I get to see exactly what's happening within my business.
That's awesome.
Now, one of the biggest problems in our industry is quotes. Quotes can take a very long time. They're one of those things where people just hate to do them because they take a long time. You have to use QuickBooks or Excel, and I got to convert it to a PDF. If I want to do a mock-up, I got to open up Corel or Illustrator and put a T-shirt and put the logo on there and convert that to PDF. Open up Outlook, email it to the client. Hopefully I didn't make a mistake on the spelling. Send it to them, confirm that they received it, get the credit card number, place an order, do the paperwork, send that through. The workflow is very complex. So if you don't mind, I'm not going to take that long, but what I'm going to do, if you don't mind, I'm going to just go ahead and I think I'm in here. Yep, I sure am. So I'll go ahead and I'm going to quickly do a quote for myself. And let's just say I'm out in the field, I'm a sales guy, and Mark, who you will become Marco now, you call me up and you say, hey, I need a quote. And I'm going to say, great, now I'll pull over on the side of the road. Now, because I have Deconetwork, one of the things that I'm using is Business Hub. Now, Business Hub is a cloud-based solution. So there's no special software you have to do. I don't have to download it on my, it's on my laptop. Oh, I can't really do it. I got to wait till I get back to the office. No, if you got your iPad or you got your Android tablet and you got internet access, you're at the cafe, you're at Starbucks, no problem, you can do this. No special software, and you don't need a mouse. You can do this with touchscreen. But let's just say the client says, okay, well, I want a T-shirt. Okay, great. What kind of T-shirt do you want? Now, again, normally I'd have to go through my catalog and from SNS or Sanmar or whatever and find that product. But because I've got Deconetwork and I've enabled those products on my solution, I can quickly go through and I can say, well, I want a T-shirt. And it's going to go through my system and it's going to look for those T-shirts that I have on here. So let's just say it's this one, for example. And I'm going to say, okay, what color do you want? I don't have to remember the colors because guess what? It knows that the 5930 is available in those colors, and I've selected the Royal. Also, they're going to say, well, I don't know what sizes I want. Now, that's very common in this industry. They just say, I want 25 shirts. Right. I don't know the sizes. Now, notice that there's a variation in pricing here, right? This is very common. It's a little bit more as it gets bigger. But they know that they want 25, and you say, well, what about the logo? Well, I want that logo that we did before, that one logo that we did, and so now normally that means I got to call my art department or I got to call somebody in the office and say, hey, can you send me that logo that we did for them 6 months ago? And that's just a really time-consuming process. But in this case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through and I'm going to look at the designs that I've done for them in the past, and here it is. That's the logo I did for them. And because it lives in the cloud, it automatically finds the past designs I've done for them. There they are, and I say, okay, is that it? Yep, that's the Memphis. Wonderful. Now it automatically calculates my setup fee because it's a screen print and it's a dark shirt, so that means I have to add an additional. Now I've got the screens, but it knows that it needs to add an additional screen on it because of the white that it's laying out. It knows the unit price, the pricing already. It knows that this client's a good client. Of course, I'm a good client. I get 15% off. Plus, it knows that this client, even though he's a good client, he's kind of shady sometimes. So he's going to require 10% deposit with a 30-day terms. The system calculates that. If there's a shipping charge, it's going to know that. But in this case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to save and I'm going to email that. Now, notice that didn't take the 30 minutes that would take otherwise. And it's going to email this template here. Now, this template is completely customizable by the customer. You guys being the customer, the store owner, I should say, is completely customizable. I don't have to worry about what's their email address. And if you've ever had to try to find an email address on an iPad and type it in, it's very cumbersome. Don't worry about that. You don't have to do that here. It automatically will calculate all that, or we'll pull that up. Plus, it fills all this up. You can change this to whatever you want. You can put your logo there. But I'm just going to go ahead and click on OK. Now, what it's doing is it's saving that quote. And in fact, if I go in my news feed, here, as soon as it's done, yep. As soon as I go to my newsfeed, it says that the quote was done and it was emailed. And in about a minute now, my phone's going to buzz. It's going to say, "Hey, Marco, you've got an email." But I'm not going to wait for that. I got the link. Now let's switch gears. Let's say I'm the customer. My phone just buzzed. I got that link. You saw that. And I click on that blue link. What that is that's a secure token. It logs them into your site with their login credentials. So, Mark, they don't have to remember their password or username or anything like that. Nice. They can go in there and they can see all their past designs, their layouts, their past quotes. Now, remember, all I typed in was Empeña. That's it. That's the only thing I've typed in so far. Everything else has been just kind of clicking and dragging and doing stuff like that. This is exactly what they're going to get. They're going to get a nice, quick overview of what it's going to look like.
Preview. That's terrific.
Isn't that cool? Isn't that cool? And they're going to say, okay, it's 25. Here's your full pricing. Looks beautiful. Again, it would have your logo on here and that good stuff. Now, what they're going to do is they're going to go ahead and they're going to approve that. Now, it's going to say, okay, wait, I need your address. So I didn't have all this filled out before, so it's going to say you need to do that. All right, wonderful. Now, the other thing it's going to say is, hey, you didn't tell me the sizes. I can't do it unless you tell me the sizes, right? So I'm going to say, okay, well, I want 5 of these, 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 and 5 of these. Okay. And now there's a problem, Mark. What's the problem?
I don't know.
The pricing changed because now they want XXX. I didn't know that they wanted XXX. So because the system knows that there's a pricing change within my catalog, it automatically will recalculate the new pricing based on the actual sizes.
That alone has got to save 1,000 phone calls.
Oh, and an explanation as to why.
Right.
An explanation as to why. Now, here's the other thing that's really cool about this is that, again, it knows that it's 10% deposit, so it's going to ask them to put their credit card in there, so I don't have to call them up, and they'll go ahead and do that. Click Pay Now. It's got a nice little running history of everything that happened, so, you know, it's been emailed. Now, they could ask a question. They could say, hey, is this available in yellow or whatever? And you would get a notification, you get an email as a store owner, you get an email, and you get a notification in Business Hub saying that they've got this question. But in this case, they've made a deposit, they paid the balance. Now, me as a store owner now, I should see, yep, guess what? Bing, 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 bing. The payment, they've approved the order, and guess what? They made a deposit. So as a store owner, I instantly know that something has happened within my business. And now I can come in here and guess what? I can have a nice little overview. Now this is really cool. How many of your clients will love this? Now I quickly can see exactly where every order is at, and I can see whether it's been paid, whether it's been ordered. So in this case, this order that I just submitted, I need to order the products. I don't have the products. I need to order them. In this one, these have been ordered. These have been received. They just haven't been in production. So they got to go to production. These, you know, in this one, this has been produced, but it hasn't been shipped. So I got to take care of that order. Great overview as to what's happening within your business.
Great. And really, I mean, this is
now one other thing that we've done recently. I don't know if you. Go ahead, Mark. Sorry.
I was just going to say, this is where a lot of small business owners fall down. You know, I mean, they'll operate the equipment great. They've got great artwork or great embroidery or great direct-to-garment or heat transfer printing, things along those lines, and good customers. But this whole back end of the business just eludes a lot of people.
You know, you're absolutely right, and it's funny because, I mean, I know that you guys, when they buy equipment from you, it comes with training, so you do everything you can to get them started on the right foot. You have starter kits, you do the training, you spend time with them, you know, with the podcasting and the education, the weekly webinars. It's not like they're not informed. The clients are absolutely, you guys, there's so much wealth of information out there, but I agree with you. The biggest problem with most of this marketplace is they don't have the systems in place to be effective and efficient. And these are the kind of tools that really help you become efficient and effective. So from here, Mark, one of the things, I don't know if you've even seen this, Mark, but one of the things that we have that we've added not too long ago was this purchase order functionality. So from here, it'll say, okay, well, I need to order one item from SNS and what from Relawise. It actually will look at your entire platform, whether it's affiliate stores or sales reps out in the field or your web store or quotes or orders or whatever you did, and it'll say you need to order these items. These items haven't been ordered. And if you've got Sanmar, SNS, Americana, or Bodick and Rose, if you do with any one of those three, or four, sorry, we actually have something called live ordering, where you can put your account information, you turn it on, and basically what it does is when you go to click create purchase order, if I had this set up to my account with Sanmar, or in this case SNS, it would actually pull in the actual pricing for that particular product. Again, it's a demo store, so it's not showing anything, and I don't have that account, but it would actually pull up the actual pricing. Plus, it actually shows how many of those items they have in stock. So if you've got 100 of them that you need, and you see that they've only got 103, you can order a couple extra for inventory.
Yeah.
Plus, I can click on. There's going to be a button here that would say order now, and you click on that, and it would actually send that order directly through the system to Sanmar, to SNS, to Bodick and Rose, to Americana. They receive the order and they ship it directly to you. So there's no printing of the, there's no faxing, there's no emailing, it's all within the system.
That's great. That is great. And as a matter of fact, that actually brings me to a couple of questions that maybe we can address now.
Sure.
One of them is, can you add products that are not from Deconetwork supplier partners? So in other words, let's say you get, Bob's Baby Clothes or Jenny's T-shirt company, and you buy their stuff. Is there a way to enter that into the system?
Yes, absolutely. So depending on the level, the source level and above, and I think even the business plus level does in fact have the ability to add custom. We call them custom products because they're anything outside of the system.
Okay.
But we do have 14,000 products in there, so there's a good chance if it's mostly material, then if it's mostly soft goods, then you will have it. Hard goods, it's something that we're definitely working on. We do have some standard ones like mouse mats and mugs and
Gotcha.
a couple of things like that. But if you do, Bob's, aprons, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever that is, right? And we don't have that on there. You can absolutely do it. Now you're going to need some images. You're going to need to, you need the colors. It's just
not as seamless, right?
Not as seamless, but it's absolutely doable. It's just going to take you a little bit of time to do it.
And that probably leads into these other two questions, which is what about heat transfers and using something like the Oki white toner printer? In other words, if you're in the heat transfer business, how would you use Deconetworks with that kind of an application?
Yeah, absolutely. So with that application, there would obviously be some limitations as to what you can do with it. I think what we probably want to do is look at that use case and probably talk to that client specifically on that.
Okay.
But traditionally, what we do is we would tell them that you would want to sell that like as a stock design. So there's not a lot of modifications to that, and you can make that available on certain products. And,
Got it.
And that's probably the best way of doing that.
So it would be a little bit more like it would be for a traditional shopping cart on the front end, where you would go in, and this answers Yolanda's questions about rhinestone designs. Is basically you would take a picture of a shirt or your design and put them up on the on Deconetwork, just like you would any other cart, and then you'd have to adapt the back end, the communications and the and everything to match that. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. And now one thing that we do have that we didn't have last time you and I talked, Mark, is that we now have the rhinestone pricing tables
Oh,
So
really?
that's something we didn't currently have before. So that's something new. So we are making headway in that. And one of the nice things about working with a company like Deconetwork is we're constantly developing and we're constantly pushing the envelope and adding new functionalities. But the rhinestone one is really neat because you can actually have the pricing tables for rhinestone, and that's unique. Before they would have to do it as a like screen print, or they'd have to rename it, and it didn't quite work. But this way, we actually have pricing for that, and it recognizes a different pricing methodology for that.
Cool. That's great.
So so we're definitely working in the way of that, and I think they'll be happy with where we're going with that.
All right, that catches up on questions anyway.
Okay, great. Actually, if you don't mind, I'll show you really quickly here what the pricing table on the rhinestone looks like. I don't have one actually set up, but yeah, sorry, I don't have one set up. I'll have that one for our next presentation.
Okay, that's great then.
So for the production, I think we left off now and talking about our workflow. Okay, we've done the purchase order, the products have came in, time to get them produced. Well, if you're a shop that has a production person, you can actually give them separate access so they can log in and they would only see the production. And so when they come in the morning, they're going to see all the work that they have to do, and they can click on this order. For example, let's say they want to do that one, and they can download that EMB file, and they can download the editable file, and they can do whatever they want to do. They want to, let's say they download that one, and they produce it. Once it's completed, they don't have to send the client an email. They don't have to, you don't have to worry about them giving them access to Outlook or anything like that, or setting up an email address for them. All they've got to do is click on this little button called Mark as Production is Complete, and it's going to mark it as completed. Now, that does two things. Number one is internally within the system, it marks it as that order is now being completed. Secondly, it actually sends a client an email saying, hey, thanks for ordering from, you know, Mark's T-shirts. Your order is now on the way out. It should be, you should receive it pretty soon. And you can actually control what you want that email template to say. But just like in Amazon, when the product is shipped out or it's received or it's confirmed, you get the same confirmation. Nice. So your shipping department will now open that up, and they can print out a packing slip for that if they want. And once that's actually done, they can record that shipping. They can put a tracking number in right here and click on OK, and it notifies the client that that order has been shipped.
Nice.
And again, I don't have to worry about emails. I don't have to worry about, you know, are they going to receive that? None of that stuff. The last thing I want to show right here, Mark, how are we doing with time? Are we okay?
Yeah, we got about 10 minutes left.
Okay, great. I'll be brief. So let me just go ahead and find my account right here. So one of the other things that we found is that clients oftentimes don't have a good handle on who their clients are. So they don't, you know, if they call and they say, hey, I want to place an order I did 6 months ago, that means you got to go to that dreaded file box, file cabinet, right?
No, it's searching for their name in Outlook or Gmail. That's usually what happens.
Yeah, that's it. And heaven forbid you deleted it, right?
Right.
And so, you know, where's the paperwork? Where's the order? Where's the artwork? Where's the disc? And it's just a mess. The beauty of Deconetwork, again, because it's cloud-based, I can access this anywhere. I can access this on my office in downtown Tampa or on my yacht, which I don't have, but I'm dreaming.
That's not true.
Off the Bahamas. Yeah. One of these days, right, Mark?
Right.
And you know, wherever I have internet access, I can do this, and I can see, I can bring up that account. I can see, you know, any past history. I can also set them up on terms. So if I give them $100 store credit, or I set up terms where he's only allowed to buy, you know, $500 worth of stuff or whatever, I can do that.
Nice.
I can see the last time he was on my site, time he's been on my site, the IP address, if he's voted for products or made comments on things. I can see all the past orders, quotes that are open, rejected, expired, and if, you know, I need to revive those, I can do that. Any past orders, here they are. So these are past orders he did 6 months ago, and I want to redo those, no problem. I can pull that up and redo that, not a problem. I can see any outstanding invoices. Instead of having to go through QuickBooks and find out what he owes me, which could take forever,
right.
I can just bring it up here, and I just say, hey, request a payment, and it's going to say, okay, Mr. Customer, which ones do you want me to send them? We'll send them these 3. And it will do, if I click on OK, it'll send them an email saying, please make a payment, you know, and you can control what that says. And it'll give them that link. That link will look very, very similar to the link that I got over here, where it'll give them a rundown of what they owe and an ability to pay with their credit card.
Nice. Statements,
if I want to send them a statement, I can do that right from here, as well as any past payments. design history, layouts, activities. Again, this is a newsfeed for that client, so I know everything. I've got a running tab of everything I've done for him,
That's
as
great.
well as any internal notes.
Yeah, awesome. Okay, well, I think we should probably wrap up here and see if anybody has any final questions. There is a reasonably good chance, and if you've been to any of our Cold SC live online demonstrations or webinars before, you know I'm only successful in recording these things about 10% of the time, but I think I got it right this time. So there's a reasonably good chance that I'll be able to send out recordings if you are interested. Before we do that, I'd love to get any last minute questions that you have while we have Marco on the line.
Hey, Mark, can I while you wait for those to come through, can I just mention one other thing?
Go for it.
All right, awesome. The last element to Deconetwork, and one of the most exciting. Well, I said that with my business, I guess also exciting, equally exciting, is this affiliate network. And I'll be brief about this. But let's just say, for example, my name is Marco, which of course it is, and I sell polos. So I open up a web store called Marco Polos, and I sell school uniforms, right? Let's just say I sell these polos, and I want to work with middle school down the street. And why do I want to work with middle school? Well, because they're an elementary school, and they're looking to make funds, and they're looking for fundraising. Well, one of the things that I can do if I'm on my storage level, and I'll show you that in a second here, but if I'm on my storage level, one of the things I can do is I can actually build a website specifically for middle school. Now, it's its own unique website with its own unique URL, and if I own a URL, it could be that, or we actually give you one, but whatever you want to use, and you can customize that website specifically for middle school.
Yeah, Marco, so I had forgot all about this part of the system because we do have some customers that use this to really good effect, where they've set up websites specifically for big customers, for high schools, for big companies, and do exactly this.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And this is just a huge, huge tool because, Mark, you can set this website up for middle school Mustangs, and all you got to do now. So instead of waiting on the school administrators to get those orders in, which they're never really inclined to do that. They're so busy. They're overloaded. One of the nice things that you can do is send a postcard home with the kids. Say, hey, support your school, order your school uniforms or spirit wear online. Mom and Dad go and they order 5 of these, 3 of these, 2 of these, whatever that is. That order doesn't go to the school, Mark. That order goes to me, Marco Polos. I produce it. I ship it directly to the parents, completely bypass the school. But the system tracks where that order came from, and it's got the ability to pay the school back a commission. So I can tell that school, hey, guess what? I'm going to give you guys 10% or 15% or whatever that number is, right? And I'll give you guys a commission. All you got to do is tell people to go on the website and order from the website. And that affiliate network is incredibly popular in Deconetwork because all the people that are listening to my voice right now, you guys work with people, right? You work with schools, you work with restaurants, you work with stay-at-home moms, you work with, all these different people. And any one of those you can build websites for, and they can build their websites, and it's a slice of the business. They don't have to worry about collecting the money. They don't have to worry about shipping. They don't have to worry about products. You're doing all that for them.
That's great. We got a question.
Yes, sir.
Somebody said here that there's a lot to learn on the software. What kind of training and support comes with the Deconetwork?
Yeah, it's a great question. So one of the things that we're really proud of is that we've got a nice little system that is a DIY type solution. It guides them through the process. There's a set of wizards that guides them. If they do have problems, they can absolutely call our office. And we've got because we're actually in different regions. So I'm actually doing this from our LA office, but we have offices throughout the U.S., UK, Australia, and so we've got something like right now, currently, we've got about 18-hour support. And next month, actually, we're pretty excited because, well, not next month, that's next week already, but in April, we're actually going to, it looks like we're going to have 24-hour support. So that people can call in. We don't charge for that. We do have videos. We have self-guide tips. We have a great support system. So if they have, if they've got questions, they can do a support ticket right from here. We've got an excellent blog and help topics. So if you click on any one of these things, it'll guide you right through it. So we've got lots and lots of support. I don't want to oversimplify it, and I don't want anybody walking out of here saying, okay, in half an hour, I'm going to have the website of my dreams, and I'm going to, and within an hour, I'm going to be making $1 million. That's not the case. And
really?
What we want to
get it done.
I know people want that, Mark, but unfortunately, that's just not the case. The reality is that this is a business model. It takes a little bit of time to set it up. You got to consider things like for example, experience that the clients are going to have when they go to your site. You got to, your pricing. What am I going to charge? What products am I going to offer? What kind of shipping am I going to offer? What's my payment gateway? So it's. I don't want to oversimplify it, but it's not as. If you dedicate the time and the energy to it, you can absolutely do it. Everybody can do it. They just got to make the time to learn it and do it well.
That's great. That's a good point. Thanks for being clear about that. I appreciate it.
Sure.
Okay, so all the questions that I have now are about setup cost and pricing and things like that.
What's the magic number, right?
Yep.
It's almost free, Mark. Almost free. In fact, once you see it, you're going to say, "Wow, it's practically free."
That's a great phrase. I like that.
It is a great phrase. So here's the thing with Deco Network. Guess what? There's no activation fee. We believe that we shouldn't put you guys on the hook for $1,000 or $1,500 or $2,500 or $4,000. We feel like we shouldn't put you on the hook for that because we believe in our product. We believe our product has its own feet and it's worthy for you to take a look at it. So we want everybody to try it without feeling like they got to put all this money up front just to give us a shot. So we don't charge an activation fee. We don't have any lock-in contracts. We don't feel like we got to set you up on a 2-year contract because if it doesn't work for you, then guess what? We want to be able to shake your hand and say, hey, we're still buddies. Just because you decide not to do business with us doesn't mean we're not friends. So we don't do any lock-in contracts. And guess what? We don't do transaction fees either. Deco Network has 4 plans. We have a Business Plus plan at $89 a month. We have a Stores plan at $199, Stores Plus and Enterprise. What does this tell you? Well, as my business grows, I've got more and more tools for myself to grow into. So our most popular plan is in fact the Stores, and that gives you 5 users, and a user would be like, for example, if my if my production guy, I want him to be able to log in, he's a user. My sales guy would be another user, and so that Stores gives you 5 of them, and there's no limit. You can add more, as well as 100 of those web stores. So if you do the math really quickly, it comes out to about $2 a web store. Really, really cheap.
Right.
Less than a cup of latte a day. We say keep the latte away and keeps you, makes you lots and lots of money.
There you go.
So Business Plus also very, very popular, $89 a month. Each one of these solutions gives you $500 a month, and if you do an annual plan, if you say, okay, you know what, I'd rather pay up front all year long, my year up front, you actually double the yearly the orders per plan.
All right. Any other questions, guys?
And again, if they want to sign up or want to research this anymore, they want to go to codesi.deconetwork.com. That's a website specifically for anybody that's coming through Codesi. It helps us know that you're a Codesi client. It helps us when we reach out to you. We know where you came from. We know we can help you and we can assist you. And there's actually an account manager that's assigned to the Codesi accounts. And we actually, you'll actually hear from us after you sign up. So we do care about our clients. The other thing to also note on this, Mark, is because we don't have that lock-in fee and we don't have that contract, we don't have those activation fees. We're not one of those kind of companies that once you sign up from us, with us, you're never going to hear from us. Our goal is to have you on Deco Network as long as possible. It's the only way that it's going to pay for all this, millions and millions of dollars that we've invested in this platform.
Right.
Is if we have clients for a very long time. So we do everything we can to keep you on board, help you be as successful as possible.
All right, terrific. Thank you very much, Marco. Thanks, everybody, for attending. Please take a look at coldesc.com/live to find out when our next online presentation is going to be. And just let us know, and we will send you a what looks like it might have been a successful recording of this presentation. Thanks, Marco. I appreciate it.
Oh, thank you, Mark. Have a good one.
You too.
Bye, everyone.